Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria police are investigating a fatal stabbing that happened last night. One person has been arrested. And San Antonio police are searching for a suspect who is involved in the fatal shooting of a Sonic manager. How the shooting happened this afternoon. And we continue with the latest updates after Hurricane Beryl, how power outages and more are impacting Texans.
Well, late this afternoon, a couple of thunder showers popped in the San Antonio area. You can see them right about there, and they're drifting southeast. So those of you in the Gonzales and Cuero area, you'll probably be seeing this first. Eventually, it'll get down into Victoria County. We'll be talking about that and what to expect for the rest of the week coming up in a moment.
Several Palestinians were killed in an Israeli airstrike, and many continue fleeing the heavy fighting, the latest in the war in Gaza. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. The 4 former Industrial ISD baseball players all pleaded guilty today to a Class A misdemeanor assault charges. The 4 men are on deferred adjudication. They'll have to pay a $1,000 fine and complete 50 hours of community service. They cannot contact the victim or the family of the victim. The 4 men were accused in April of 2023 of assaulting a baseball mate on an Industrial ISD bus. If the men complete their probation requirements successfully, the conviction will be removed from their record. A tragic incident unfolded on Monday. A vehicle crash on East Water Street claimed the life of 45-year-old Virginia Ann Martinez, identified as the mother of the suspect. Trevon Anthony Martinez, age 20, now facing a charge of murder after the vehicle he was in crashed into a fence. The female driver succumbed to her injuries, which were unrelated to the crash. This is being investigated as an isolated case of family violence. Victoria police arrested a 22-year-old man from Port Lavaca Monday. This is Sage Cervantes, facing 4 counts of human smuggling from Kenny County. Cervantes was held on a $20,850 bond before he was extradited to Kenny County. A suspect is on the run after fatally shooting a Sonic manager in San Antonio. The shooting happened around 9:30 Sunday night. Police say the manager of the Sonic, located on the city's northwest side, got into an argument with a customer over an order. That's when the customer pulled out a gun and shot the manager before taking off. Police say the Sonic manager was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators are working to get video for a description of the suspected gunman. Many communities were impacted by Beryl's high winds and rain. We caught up with one family in Ganado who was left cleaning up after the storm. Sherry Caracosco has lived in Ganado for 30 years. She says Sunday was a scary night as her family hunkered down during Hurricane Beryl. Things got worse when a tree fell on their home.
We heard something really loud crash and hit the house. Well, of course, I was terrified. I opened my front door and my pecan tree was here laying on my house.
Beryl has now deteriorated to a storm that is heading northeast. She says thankfully no one was hurt and no one was home at the time of the incident. Now, in the wake of Hurricane Beryl, death and devastation is headed to several Caribbean islands north of eastern Mexico and the U.S. Gulf Coast, where so far the death toll since Monday stands at least 8 and could climb as recovery efforts continue.
I went outside to look for it, and I saw it. It was coming.
Coming at him, a tornado fueled by Beryl's powerful winds in Benton, Louisiana, Monday.
It sounded like a train, like a big freight train was right on top of you.
The freight train of Beryl roared ashore into Texas Monday after a long and deadly trek through the Caribbean and Mexico in recent days.
It happened like super fast as I was going downstairs to check on my son. That's when I heard the big crack.
Haley Laredo's mother-in-law is among the multiple storm-related fatalities in Texas and Louisiana, killed when a tree crushed the Laredo's home in Houston.
It really had my heart racing because there was a lot of unknowns. I did not know his whereabouts.
Tom Webb's father, one of the lucky ones, narrowly escaping a similar fate when a tree smashed his home in Jasper County. Beryl's winds also causing widespread power outages, leaving millions of people across Texas sweltering in oppressive temperatures, according to poweroutage.us. The Houston area especially hard hit.
We will get your power on as quickly as possible.
The city's mayor says thousands of additional power crews are mobilizing to bring customers relief, and several cooling centers in the state are now open. Meteorologists have the record-setting triple-digit heat wave continuing from Texas up through the western U.S. until week's end. They're also now tracking post-tropical cyclone Beryl through the Midwest and Ohio Valley, bringing with it the threat of tornadoes and heavy rain in the hours ahead. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
And AEP Texas estimates power will be restored in Bay City, Palacios, and El Campo by 5 p.m. Thursday. 3 counties in the crossroads are reporting power outages after Beryl. Jackson County reports over 500 customers still without power. In Matagorda County, over 10,300 customers are without power. And over in Wharton County, they still have over 4,200 customers without power. And with that, let's toss it over to our weather wall with our chief meteorologist, Mac Bettis.
Well, you mentioned thousands of people in our viewing area that are without power tonight, and I spoke to the Red Cross, and they're setting up cooling stations. Make sure you find out where they are in your community so at least you can go in, maybe get a comfortable night's sleep, because it's going to be rather warm and steamy otherwise. Now, while we're fairly quiet right about now, we're actually tracking some storms that popped up late this afternoon. You can see the line just beginning to move into Nixon and Karn City. So Cuero, you'll be next, and we expect some of that activity to drift into the city later tonight. We'll talk about what to expect for the rest of the week and see where Beryl is. All that coming up in a moment.
Mac, thank you. Here is your beer poll this afternoon. The question is, what is your top strategy for staying cool and safe? Is it staying indoors, cool treats, swimming, evening activities, hydrating often, shade and fans, light clothing, or cooling gadgets? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. The Salvation Army of Victoria is helping Beryl victims in Wharton and Matagorda counties. The Victoria group is currently serving in Palacios. This comes after they helped people in Wharton. The Salvation Army has 9 groups covering 3 counties on the coast that were hit hard by Beryl. An Israeli airstrike on a shelter in southern Gaza has killed at least 25 Palestinians. Meanwhile, heavy bombardment in the north have forced the closures of several medical facilities in Gaza City and sent thousands fleeing for refuge. This new ground assault in Israel is the latest effort to battle the remaining Hamas militants. Much of the population fled earlier in the war, but several 100,000 Palestinians remain in the north. Hunter Biden has withdrawn his request for a new gun trial. His lawyers originally filed the motion on a technicality over an appeal they claim should have prevented a trial from even starting. After reviewing the issue further, today they conceded they had misunderstood the situation. Hunter Biden is still pursuing other challenges to his felony gun convictions. He's planning to ask an appeals court to throw out his guilty verdicts. Mockingbird Street will be reduced this week so that crews can finish resurfacing. Mockingbird will be reduced to 1 lane in each direction between John Stockbauer Drive and Loop 463 Thursday and Friday. The construction is part of the 2024 Mill and Overlay project. Now remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. 3 states are leading the charge to block President Biden's student loan program. Who those 3 states are? Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, one study found concerning details regarding toxic materials in tampons. 3 GOP-led states are working to block the Biden administration's effort to lower student loan payments. The states of South Carolina, Alaska, and Texas are asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review the legality of the program. The Saving on a Valuable Education program was created last year. Nearly 8 million borrowers enrolled in the program, which lowers monthly payments and provides a faster route to debt forgiveness. The Supreme Court could decide whether to block the program within a few weeks. Former President Donald Trump is preparing to announce his running mate, but uncertainty around President Joe Biden's re-election bid may have provided new factors for Trump and his advisors to consider when it comes to his vice presidential pick.
Former President Donald Trump is entering a critical stretch of his presidential campaign, preparing to hold several rallies, kick off the Republican National Convention, and select a running mate.
I haven't made final decision, but I have some ideas as to where we're going.
Trump's summer plans have been overshadowed by the dramatic fallout over President Joe Biden's lackluster debate performance last month. And with lots of uncertainty on the other side of the ticket, Trump's campaign is trying to navigate how to maximize the rollout of his vice presidential pick.
We wanted to see what they're doing, to be honest, because, it might make a difference. I don't know.
Trump's search for a running mate has primarily focused on 3 names: Florida Senator Marco Rubio, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. Though Trump once measured his potential picks by how they might stack up against Vice President Kamala Harris in a one-on-one debate, some Trump allies emphasize that those calculations would change if she's elevated to the top of the Democratic ticket.
If Biden steps down, Harris is going to have to pick somebody to help her. If she does become the nominee, this is a dramatically different race than it is right now today.
Despite calls from within the Democratic Party to step away, Biden says he is committed to staying in the race.
Trump's campaign views Monday, July 15th, the opening day of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, as the deadline to present his vice presidential choice. With party business scheduled for the morning, the announcement could take place right before the official nomination. Reporting at the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
A potential health risk associated with using tampons. A study published by the journal Environment International says tampons could expose you to toxic metals, including arsenic and lead. Researchers analyzed both organic and non-organic tampons from 14 tampon brands in the U.S. and the U.K. All were found to have measurable concentrations of at least 16 different metals. Study authors say the cotton could have absorbed the metals from the environment or could have come from additives. More research is needed to determine whether the metals can affect your health. 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night is how much you need and how much is recommended for adults. But sometimes you can get the right amount of sleep and still wake up feeling tired.
If you get enough Z's but can't kick the morning grogginess, there may be a reason, something known as a heightened state of sleep inertia.
It's just what it sounds like. You are awake, but there's a lot of inertia of sleep left over that affects your memory and your mood, your reaction time, and your alertness as you're waking up.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says these effects usually go away after 15 minutes to an hour, but they can also last longer. Gupta says it's not about the quantity of sleep when it comes to this. Instead, it's the quality of those Z's.
We've talked about the basics of good sleep hygiene before, like keeping your bedroom dark, quiet, cold, and avoiding screens at nighttime.
But Gupta says there are other lifestyle things that can also affect how a person feels when they wake, including being sedentary. Your body can get used to expending low energy, making you more tired, and having inconsistent sleep schedules like staying up late on weekends. He says it can create almost a jet lag effect.
Also, remember that some people might need more sleep than others. So maybe you need 9 hours, and other experts suggest trying to go to sleep an hour earlier or waking up an hour later than usual to see if that can also make a difference.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Texas Tribune has a guide for helping Texans take advantage of using federal money to help lower their energy bills as summer temperatures continue to rise. You can read this article on our website, crossroadstoday.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are looking at lots of sunshine out there, and yet not that far away, some afternoon thunder showers have popped up. Beryl's long gone, but this is the leftovers from Beryl. giving us a few little showers possible in the next couple hours. 95 currently, but boy, it soared up there. It got up to 97 today. Of course, we've been as warm as 110. How many of these showers will affect us tonight and for how long? All that coming up in a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. While we had a fairly quiet day over the crossroads, late this afternoon, a big line of storms actually developed out to the west. Beryl is long gone way over here up in Arkansas, but as you can see, this line sort of developed in the heat and the humidity of the afternoon. Some of that is getting very close to our area. As a matter of fact, there's San Antonio. Let's zoom in a little bit and show you what we've got. Okay, so we're talking Gonzales right about here. Thunder showers already moving into the Yoakum area, and then of course also into Cueros. So this is going to be within the next hour or so. You're going to see some big showers roll down into the region and sort of roll around for the evening. They are decreasing. They're not violent storms, but you know, heavy thunder showers will be affecting the area. This in orange, and this in orange is a heat advisory for the next couple of days. Now, if you know, it's amazing how well we're doing, because if you go up here, they're not doing well at all. In fact, all of the Houston area, people have been calling me and said, what about the roadways? And I'm going, it was very hard to answer because which roadway are we talking about? I checked on I-10, and there's 4 spots in the city of Houston where they have still water on the roadway. The freeway's open, but it's narrowed down to a couple of lanes. So yes, there is good travel on the major interstates. However, there will be some spots. Now, it's down at the surface and certainly in the low water areas. You can see right about here, the East Bernard and going down to Colorado, they're getting a lot of rain and flood runoff. So I would avoid the area if you could for the next hour or so. In the last 24 hours, we've gotten nothing in terms of rain, nor did they, which is good. But the rain that we did get is associated with that stuff that popped out to the west of us and is now crossing the I-10 corridor, and that'll be affecting some of the crossroad areas later this afternoon. In fact, here's Future Tracker. You can see how it brings it down into the crossroads. This activity isolated showers through the 7, 8 o'clock hour. Some of them look like they're, you know, real gully washers there. So we'll watch out for possible isolated storms in the region tonight, but then they sort of decrease. Next couple of days going to be very warm and humid. Just reminding everybody, stay hydrated. You're going to perspire a lot, so strenuous outdoor activities should be limited in the mid-afternoons. Check on the elderly and the pets because it's going to be very warm. As a matter of fact, we're heading into a little bit of a heat wave for the whole country. I'll be talking about that for the next couple of days because as Beryl, who's now in St. Louis, rolls this way with heavy rain as well, it is going to allow pressures to rise all over the southern half of the United States. As a result, our temperatures are going to go back to the upper 90s, and you know, with the humidity that we have on the ground, it's going to be quite oppressive. In fact, while Beryl is continuing to leave, the western states right now are in a heat wave. That heat wave is going to spread over our area for next week. So the question is, are the tropics still busy? Well, the tropics are ripe and ready to go, but there's a little bit of not a cooling trend, a stable trend for a couple of days because a bunch of dust got in there. And so for the short term, we're going to say the tropics are quiet. The heat is going to be building. So tomorrow, looking for about a 90 out in Port Lavaca, 1 or 2 isolated showers in the afternoon, 92 in Cuero, same thing with the isolated shower activity. That activity will decrease as we get to Saturday, Sunday, and the temperatures are going to rise. Going to be looking at upper 90s by the time we get to the early part of next week. That is your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. That's a quick response. Take a picture of that with your phone, and you can put Crossroads Today right on your cell phone. That is it from the weather front. We'll toss it over to Karina.
Thank you, Matt. Coming up next on 25 News Now 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, Boeing sales in the first quarter of this year have come out, and those numbers are not looking good. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 53 points, the S&P 500 up 4 points, and the Nasdaq up 26 points. Oil down 92 cents, closing at $81.41 per barrel. Boeing reports it ended the first half of the year with gross sales down 70% from a year ago. The aerospace giant sold just 14 new jets in the past month, with most of those being firefighters. Boeing sold only 4 aircrafts in May and just 7 in April. The June sales went down 95% from 304 gross orders it took in June of 2023. The company's sales have fallen sharply since a 737 MAX door plug blew out mid-flight in January. Airlines eager to expand their fleets are holding off on purchases while Boeing works through multiple problems. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac when we come back. Plus, some dogs in Oregon are looking for their forever homes after their rescue from a dog fighting operation. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight right after 25 News Now at 5.
Coming up tonight, breaking news. President Biden on the world stage just moments ago, his high-stakes speech, the record-breaking heat and now storms across the Midwest into the Northeast, the close call over an upstate New York airport and boaters rescued after crashing into a bridge. World News Tonight is next.
Authorities rescued 9 dogs from a New Jersey dogfighting operation, and they arrived in Portland, Oregon Monday. The Pit Bull Terrier mixes came in on a charter flight from the nonprofit Wings of Rescue and are being rehabilitated at a Humane Society facility. Now, the plan is to get them into their forever homes. They're set to go up for adoption next week. The rescue dogs were among 14 that landed in Portland, so good for them. Happy ending there.
They got a free flight.
They got a free flight, and now they're headed to a forever home.
I wonder if they got peanuts.
Oh, poor babies. Glad they're safe, though.
Yeah, there you go. Looking for their forever homes. Well, for the next couple of days, we're going to have these little pop-up showers in the afternoon hours. Some of them could get heavy. I mean, I'm talking thunderstorms. And some are rolling out of the northwest, out of San Antonio, into Gonzales right now. You may see some of that this afternoon and evening. But once the sun goes down, they all will collapse. And that's kind of the pattern for about 3 days. And then we get into the heat and humidity of summertime. In other words, it's going to feel like July 4th all over again for most of next week. The tropics are going to be quiet for almost 7 to 10 days. We don't really see anything really brewing, although, you know, there's always a chance that things will change. But as of right now, we're going to go through a quiet period in the tropics. And we need that because people are picking up the pieces.
Oh, the debris.
Trees down, power's down, windows broken. Houston got all kinds of flooding right now.
Yeah, and like you said, we were pretty lucky here in Victoria to not get
amazingly. I mean,
of that.
50 miles up the road, it was a completely different situation.
Yeah. Alrighty, thank you, Mac, and thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with Dave Amir is up next.